Hi there. Thanks for watching. My name is Shegun Johnson, and this is News Echoes World Affairs. Here we discuss issues that affect nations and international matters. I have with me in the studio a lady from Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, Bidi Nana. Bidi, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me today.
Yes, as always, we love to hear you from you. We have our man from the seat of power in Abuja, Dr. Osita Anyemeka. Osita, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Viewers, welcome to the program.
And in faraway Milan, we have our man there, Mark Godwin. Mark, you are welcome to the program.
As usual, we go with the salute. Good morning, Dr. Shago. Good morning.
I'm so glad many people will be watching and hearing us. The issue of the Chatham House and the APC presidential candidate in Nigeria have been well discussed by other people, but we choose to have a balanced and unbiased discussion about it. So we want to, first of all, understand what the Chatham House is all about so that we can then properly put the perspectives of Nigerian political leaders going there. I want to read from the website of the Chatham House, and this is about the Chatham House. This is what they have to write for themselves. We are an independent policy institute and a trusted forum to debate and dialogue. Our research and ideas help people understand our changing world. Chatham House helps people, societies, and governments understand and adapt to seismic change. There's something interesting coming up here. It says we provided throughout leadership on key issues that define the 20th century. We helped craft the multilateral institutions and mechanisms of global financial reality after the Second World War. We gave African independence leaders a platform throughout decolonization, and it goes on and on and on. And so that is the essence of the Chatham House. One paragraph here says Chatham House has been a source of independent analysis, trusted dialogue, and influential ideas for 100 years. Today, at the beginning of our second century, we constitute and continue to offer solutions to global challenges. And so, this is what the Chatham House is all about, a place where people hear ideas, where they speak and they discuss to know according to them, seismic changes of our times on matters concerning international issues. And then few days ago, the APC presidential aspirant Bola Ahmed Tinubu went and presented his position as how he will govern Nigeria if he was elected next year. And when it was question time, he gave it out to people like El Rufai, Ayade, and Alake. So something that has never been done before, especially by a presidential candidate, and something that Chatham House was not expected to receive. Chatham House was expected to say, people have come to listen to you. Can you please answer the questions? Well, don't let me preempt anything, but it was the first in Chatham House where ideas of a speaker have not been allowed to flow through, but then he had surrogates speaking for him. Many people felt that was not fair, the very least, because they left their work, they took the transport to come to this place so that they could hear a particular person that has been advertised. And they got there, and the questions that were asked were not directed to any other person but their presenter. Unfortunately, the presenter farmed it out to other people to answer. But we want to hear from you. Let me start from you, Bidi. How do you copy this from Lagos? How did people react to that?
Thank you very much. Nigerians actually reacted to this. But before I talk about how Nigerians reacted, I'm actually surprised with most people who said they were actually shocked by APC Bola Tinubu appearance at Chatham House. If you will recall, this is not a new culture to APC government. Buhari started with Chatham House. In fact, I will tell you that Buhari has spoken to more international media than he has spoken to Nigerian media. So it's not a new thing coming from Tinubu. So it's been a culture for APC government. The thing that actually surprised me was Erofara, who was answering questions on security. Let you know that Kaduna State, as we will speak today, is a war front. Not just that, APC Erofara sacked 2,000 teachers who could not answer questions as teachers. And he is the one now answering questions for somebody who will come to represent Nigerians. Is that not hypocrisy? Well, Nigerians are actually not happy with this, and they said they won't take it. They're taking it from President Buhari. They said they won't tolerate that with APC presidential candidate, but I'm a Tinubu. So they're not really happy about what APC is doing to them. It's a disgrace to Nigerians in general. So that's actually what is happening here.
Very much. Dr. Sita, you are a proprietor of an open university of diplomacy. You are not a stranger to this at all. We would like to hear, shall I say, we would like our listeners to hear from you how you visualize Nigerian aspirants going to Chatham House, and then the new twist that Tinubu has put into it. We want to hear from a person like you as well.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. I think there are two factors here. The time of the visit. Going to Chatham House, it's not a bad idea, but not during elections. Those pre-trips, those pre-travels before the campaign was launched in September, those are a time where you go to do your preparatory talk, you go to do a relationship building thing, so that when the real thing starts, you start with it. Now, you said something that was unique. It's a private sector institute, so that's determined. But it is also for dialogue, for debate, and for diplomacy. They all come together. So you're looking at international relations. You're looking at international what's it called? International
Discourse.
discourse. Absolutely. So things happened. People traveled from outside London. People traveled from outside the UK. Some people came from outside Europe to make this happen. And then what they did was simple ambush. They ambushed the house. Tinubu ambushed Chatham House. The Chatham House didn't expect this. And Tinubu, in his very sly thought process, ambushed his team. He commanded them into surrogates. The way those people answered questions showed you that they were not prepared. He just thought about it. He said, instead of me messing up here too, like I do in Nigeria, let me put this on their head. And then when he invited them, they just said what they felt. People who were talking against themselves, amongst them there, they spoke against what they did. Like Bidi said, the man in Kaduna has nothing to do with it, not diplomacy, not security, not economy, because the state of Kaduna that we used to know has gone down. So what we are saying is this the way that this is going to happen? Is this the way, if he gets the ticket to rule via election, is this what we're going to see in the first 4 years? I don't think Nigerians are ready for this anymore. We are tired, and being tired means that we can go the whole 9 years to make it not happen. Because if it happens, I don't think the country will survive it.
Oh, thank you very much. Mark in Milan, we recall how Buhari was answering another question when he was interviewed. For instance, they will ask him, how are you going to carry the economy? And he will be saying something else, far away from it. Tinubu appears to come the same way. Instead of him to now make such a gaffe, like we had clearly how Buhari made serious gaffes, and now is this a way for the elderlies to run away from gaffes? If you can't answer, if you don't understand, then give it to someone and let us move on. Is that a way to go forward? And how do you feel Nigerians in diaspora? How did they feel? Was it okay with them?
Thank you, Dr. Shagun. What we saw right there on Monday was it was something we call window dressing. We said that earlier. Tinubu was window dressing APC and Nigeria on the global stage. Yes, there's a program that we used to have in Nigeria called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, something like that. And when questions are asked, the contestant is gets the privilege of calling somebody, one person, to help with the question. Maybe that was what Tinubu brought to the world stage. But Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? It's actually a very strategic program, for a particular reason, to also show if your friend, the people you call acquaintance, friends, or family, if they are in tune with you. So that's for a reason they do that free call to one person. In this stage of the Chatham House, like we said, it's just window dressing. The man knew he couldn't answer some of those questions, and he brought that arrangement. Now let's look at something. If Chatham House, or people are arguing, if I right now on screen somebody is cursing us, and we know he's an APC follower, he's cursing us. I mean the team here, but that's not a problem. Now, let's look at this like this, Dr. Shagun. If Chatham House had an arrangement for extra question panelists, the arrangements on the stage wouldn't have been Tinubu sitting all alone. They would have said, okay, come with all these people because you're going to talk, they are going to be talking too. So Chatham House has never had that kind of plan. It was a strange thing too for the organizers of that program, seeing questions being thrown, that is thrown to the contestant is now being thrown back to the audience. The audience are there to listen and ask questions and not to give answers to the question that was directed to the candidate. So a lot of funny thing happened there. The sitting arrangement, for example, was not meant for two other extras. Also, you notice that the microphone and all that. So you just see that Chatham House has never had an arrangement like that before. So this was what we saw. Our man just came to really mess up.
Let me ask you one question. Do you think Chatham House representative should have said, no, we have invited people to listen to you. You cannot farm it out. Will that have been a proper way to disassociate itself from what Tinubu was doing?
Yeah, that's a very good one, Dr. Shagun. But the white man sometimes they don't act on impulse. They allow you to play play yourself out. So if you were probably like in Nigeria, I know the organizers will say, no. This question is only for you. No. But the white people who being who they are, they like to follow decorum. They like to be polite. So they allowed him to do that thing. But I think next time, if we are to advise Chatham House, we will say, Chatham House, let whoever you're asking should just ask these questions. Answer these questions and not throw it back to
okay. Bidi and Dr. Sita, I want you to pick up that point before we move on. The Chatham House, representing the British society, allowed us to make fools of ourselves so that the world can see us through. Will you agree to that?
No, because I think, like I said before, the house was ambushed. They were not expecting this particular play. by by Tinubu. They didn't know that Tinubu will come there to create surrogates to question. They were asking him about leadership of his own country. It's not market. It's not selling beans and rice. It is leadership of a particular African country that is important to the rest of the world. And remember too, Chatham House will have rules of engagement. I'm not conversant with the rules of engagement. I don't think they have the authority to interfere in processes in detail. Somebody will ask the question and somebody will answer. The thing that we have done wrong is that we took our impunity out of Nigeria to London and we just displayed. We displayed. We showed. Yeah, we showed. There's a membership fee that you pay to become a member of Chatham House, but that does not allow Chatham House to dictate for you the details of your activities. Yes, he would have said after they have answered, this is not really what we do and not how we do it. But the reporters who went there didn't even feel they didn't feel the event qualified to be mentioned in British tabloid. You live in the UK. Did you read it anywhere? Because I was
No,
asking
no,
myself.
no, 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 no.
Yes,
Like
I
you
was
said,
asking
it's
my
a
friend.
private affair. So
Exactly. It is that private. But if it made the kind of news that news hounds were expecting, they will mention it. That's how
yeah,
news works. That's how news works.
yeah. The thing we saw from here was that it embarrassed many of our citizens here in England to say, "Is this our best?" And we just had to cover up for them. And most people here, at least most academics, vented it on Chatham House itself, saying that it was fraudulent for you to invite people to come and listen to a particular person. And when we got there, you did another thing. And it's going to be a dent on the reputation of Chatham House.
Yeah.
Finally,
Yeah,
BD, do
I
you
think
think, yes, go on,
I,
BD.
I quite agree with you because before now I've watched some interviews in Chatham House. If they actually wanted to talk to Tinubu alone, the arrangements would have been different from what we saw. You understand?
Yes,
Yeah, the
the
arrangement would have been
arrangement was,
different from what we, yeah.
yeah,
But I think it was
absolutely.
yeah, it's some way. I think it's a deliberate act to show the world what we have in the person of a presidential candidate.
Mm.
Yeah, I quite
Thank,
agree with you.
thank you very much. Let me use this opportunity to welcome Dr. Godwin Ibe. Dr. Ibe, you are welcome. Where are you? Yes, you are still very handsome in Moscow, Russia.
Thank you so much for having me.
Can you please tell us?
Thank you
Can
so
you
much
please
for having me. Thank you, viewers, for tuning.
tell us these prisoners swap because you are in Moscow, so you will know more of it. We read from the news by yesterday, Brittany Greener and Mr. Booth was both of
Mhm.
them were exchanged. They were prisoners, one in America, one in Russia. There were silent discussions and prisoner swap happened. I thought the Americans will never talk to Russians, Russians will never talk to Americans. Putin and Joe Biden look the opposite of one another, not knowing that something was going in between, and then eventually led to these
Mhm.
swapping of prisoners. Please tell us more before we put our analysis. So, what exactly happened?
Yes, there are two sides to the story. When you read about it in Russia and read about it on Western publications, you think that they are talking about two different people or a group of people. But here in Russia, they see him, Victor Bout, as a businessman, and his wife even complained that he's been badly treated, while over there in the West is seen as a weapons trafficker. I didn't see the evidence firsthand, so I can only comment on what has been publicly released. While the other party, the basketballer who is seen as an innocent star in Russia, is seen as a convict of drug trafficking. she actually never contested the accusation and rather pleaded guilty, but saying that it wasn't intentional. It wasn't intended to cause crime, even though there was a violation of the law. The fact that she didn't contest that, raises some question. But anyway, it's not for me to judge or to draw conclusions. I believe that there's every prisoner exchange is a great idea to save lives, to save civilians, and both of them should continue to try to exchange as much as possible, and so that they can leave. These prisoners can, return back and live in better conditions. And also, besides the whole cloud of war, there are lots of business going on between Russia and US. Imports to US from Russia is sky high, especially oil products, fertilizers, food products. It's all high. People are getting rich. Millionaires are becoming billionaires over this conflict. So it really, there's much more rhetoric, um, much more much more words than actions in terms of the cooperation. And you can see the sanctions now are being lifted. It's now changed from ban on Russian oil and gas to putting a price cap. The price cap was reduced, and some have been saying it's not going to be very effective. So yes, there's a lot of exchange business going on between both countries, and I encourage that. It's only through peace and dialogue that we can be able to find a lasting
Yes.
solution for everybody. Because
Is this a sign that the war may come to an end very soon, Dr. Ibe?
I will be very cautious to say that, because the West, for example, has said that they want to win militarily on the field, and Russia, that's in Ukraine, and Russia has said that's not possible. So until this definition of conflicting definition of victory or colliding definition of victory changes, there's no way out, because it's not fit in terms of. And when you look at, we're talking about Russia and US like as if Ukraine doesn't have a stake, but we all know the truth and what's going on. And Ukraine is really, they care about the territory, because even if you solve the political dialogue, what are the dialogue about territory? Will Ukraine be really willing to give up, according to Russian law, what is Russia's territory? So
Okay.
there's the territorial part and the political part. It seems a long way to go for now, or maybe too optimistic.
Thank you, Dr. Ibe. Let me ask our expert on diplomacy, Dr. Sita. This must be the highest level of diplomacy, especially from your angle. And they could not exchange it and send the people directly to their country. Both of them had to go to Abu Dhabi, flew them to Abu Dhabi, released them at the same time, walk past one another. It's like a theme of the highest order. Dr. Sita, please put us through. What kind of theme is this? Dr. Sita.
Yes, okay, thank you. I didn't hear you end. This is really beautiful. It's like a movie. It's like what like what we're not expecting. But the beauty of it is that it happened. And what you just described now, happened to be exchanged at the same place. It's a protocol. It's just diplomatic protocol. While they are making the conversations for negotiations, these locations are discussed. They are taken into cognizance, because also the press needs to know that it is true. The process has to be real. The people watching, as they said it, people from CNN, BBC, they're just rushing to the spots that have been announced. Now, what has happened? There was something Dr. Ibe said that was very profound. As the greener exchange was happening, people were still making money buying oil. People were still making money with grains. People were still making money because market is what actually turns the world around. Market determines it. Market takes all the credit. People are still doing business. Russia and America are still doing business. As a matter of fact, Russian mafia, what's it called, mafia in America, they are repatriating money home. They are making so much money, and they are recognized. So let's not be too quick, to put them in their boxes, because business is still going on, business as usual, really. What we also need to know is to be able to have an understanding of how these sovereign countries work, because as soon as what I had thought was that the two prisoners in Russia, Wellam and Greener, would have been put together as one package, and then this other guy returned. But you can see what happened. It is one for one. One for one. So if there's going to be any other negotiation tomorrow, it's going to happen one for one. This is how countries work. You will be surprised. You'll be,
Dr. Shagun, maybe we can see a little of a clip so people, viewers can have an understanding of what
quickly,
happened.
because I have a question for BD. Quickly, please. That was gentlemanly, wasn't it? According to our experts,
exactly.
that was a protocol,
Exactly.
diplomatic protocol. BD, I have a question for you before we go on break. Dr.
right?
Ibe really said something profound there. He said in Russia, they saw Mr. Booth as a businessman, whereas in the West, they saw Mr. Booth as a merchant of death, because he was selling arms all the time, and that's not in controversy at all. On the other hand, Greener in Russia was seen as a drug addict carrying drug into another man's country. In America, Biden described Greener as one of our best. Isn't that very, very interesting? The way you see one person is different from the other. Is that not the enemy and the friend, BD?
Exactly. It's really, really interesting because for us here, seeing Biden and Putin discussing and achieving a particular aim was really a surprising thing to everyone. Nobody will imagine that when this war in Ukraine and Russia was going on, people were killing, that these two men were there discussing big and great business and achieving great things. I'm telling you, people were really surprised. They are beginning to see it in a different way. And in another thought, people are beginning to say maybe probably after this release, it will now open the door for better negotiation for Russia-Ukrainian war. And maybe probably that this might be the end of it. That's what
I
people are saying.
agree with you. I
Yeah, but I'm
definitely
telling
agree
you,
with you.
people were really surprised at what happened between
Yeah,
Putin
one
and
message I got from there
Biden.
is that I should never be put down by what others say of me. I mean, what they say of Booth did not reflect in Russia. What they say of Greener did not. So it is how
Yes,
how you put yourself, so you don't allow other people to put you down. Mark, will you agree with that position? Don't be put
Yes,
down by what others say of you.
can't be put down by what other say. But yesterday, but take note, this whole thing was broke out by the Saudi Arabia Crown Prince. He initiated this. That's why you had that transit of both prisoners in Saudi Arabia. And yesterday in the Russian radio TV, in the Russia from the survey from our corner here, Russians are saying that they are mocking Americans. They are mocking Americans and saying that they made an offer that the Americans couldn't refuse. Marijuana is not a crime in America. Take note of that. So the girl was having some marijuana with her because she thought she was in her America as usual. But in Russia, it's a crime. So we are not. Well, she's not really like a criminal, like we call it.
But when you cross the border, you should know their law. Ignorance
Yeah,
is not
you should know the law.
accepted.
Then also take note. Trump is laughing also at Biden and saying this is a very crazy deal.
I was about to say that the Republican leader in Senate was saying that the lives of Americans abroad are at risk because you have released the merchant of death. But definitely, Dr. Ebe will not agree with that because he said this man is a beloved businessman. And we'll leave it at that, and we'll go on a short break. When we return, where are you really from? Dr. Ibe, where are you really from? Are you a Russian, or where are you really from? We'll be discussing this really from where. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
When I wrote the book, The Final Solution, the Lord gave me some things in the spirit realm to see going to happen here. And that is why you need to get a copy of this book, not because of the purchase, but because of the contents. We've not spent 2 weeks. Now we have seen the problem in Ukraine, Russia, and Belarus, Donetsk, Luhansk, and all the other surrounding nations, talk less of the Western countries and the Eastern countries. We want to pray that this stops where it is. Some people are even imagining a third world war. I pray that there'll be no third world war, but we need to know the solution to all of these problems, and they are well packaged in that book, The Final Solution. The amount of money is next to nothing. Go to Amazon and buy this book. Go to the Kindle, go to KDP and buy this book. It's very important.
Hi there, I'm Mary Keurig, and I am a businesswoman in the United States, but I'm also the Global Content Vice President for the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria. I could not be prouder to work with Dr. Osita Anamika and his team on helping to create not just entrepreneurs and skill-based talent that will get out into the workforce and make a living for themselves, but also young leaders. And to that end, with this integrity-rich university environment that's accredited now, and it's just an amazing opportunity for anyone there of any age to jump on board and learn, we want to let you know about a new offering that we have. We have a global governance and diplomacy course now provided by a whole team of people that crosses several countries to put together these resources and lots of great information for those of you who might be on the path toward public service and diplomatic service, NGO leadership, that sort of thing. We hope
Thanks for staying with us. It is News Echoes World Affairs. We bring you world affairs, and we want you to learn from it and even contribute. And we thank you for those who have been contributing and watching us. It was last week that there was a show in Buckingham Palace, sponsored by the Queen Consort, and people turned up. one lady turned up. Her name was Ngozi Fulani. And when she got there, the following ensued. Let me read it. The late Queen's Lady in Waiting, Susan Hussey, who is also a godmother to Prince Williams, repeatedly asked Ngozi Fulani, the chief executive of the Sister Special Group, when she and her people, where she and her people were from. And the rest of the world has heard, and it was at a time when the Prince and Princess of Wales, Prince Williams and Kate, were attending a program in the United States, and it took over the whole world. This godmother of Prince William asking Ngozi Fulani, where are you from? And Ngozi said, oh, I'm from Britain. And said, no, where are you originally from? I was born in Britain. Oh, so where are your people from? Where do you come from? I know that those of us who live here, we've been subjected to that many times. I will just smile and take it like that, and we didn't see it seriously like it has turned out to be. Now, Osita, you have lived outside of Nigeria just in quantum years. You are in Britain, you are in America for several years. So where are you really from, Osita? Where are you from? Where? Tell us more.
Like you said, we've all been asked these questions.
Yeah.
It's the question they ask everywhere. Even when you're seated next seat to somebody in an aircraft, they ask you that. You see, I was trying to tell a story. I traveled for the 8 states of America by road. I didn't go to Alaska. I didn't go to Hawaii because I had to fly out. But that trip in 1998 was to see for the 8 states, and I did. In Billings, Montana, I sat down. I was just waiting for my connecting coach. And then one young boy came to me and said, where is Memphis? I said, Tennessee. And I did like this because Montana is up. Tennessee is down. He said, and you know it. I said, of course I know where it is because I've been there. The young man was dropped by his mother to go to Tennessee. He didn't know where he was going to. So when people keep asking these questions, you ask yourself, what is the import of that? You can become a citizen. I was just writing it down here: by marriage, by investment, by education, by naturalization, by birth, by registration. These are diplomatic allowances that can take you anywhere in the world and you live comfortably well. Just make sure you follow the process. Make sure you complete the protocol. So I am Nigerian, and I could be any other citizen anywhere else in the world. But the issue is, have you followed the process? Have you been recognized as that? So anybody asking you any other question apart from that is wasting time. Come to Nigeria and see Lebanese Nigerians. They go to villages. They go do village stuff. Come to, go to Accra, Ghana, you see Nigerians who are Ghanaians by birth.
Yeah.
Yes, because they allow it. It's allowed in these countries. Nothing changes it. People who are doing that are looking for trouble, and they think they are superior people.
Thank you for your analysis, because Trump is by marriage now, an in-law of Nigerian. Milan, you are. I hope you are a Nigerian, but I know you are living in Milan. So, have you ever been subjected to where are you really from?
Yes, I mean, Dr. Sita just said it all. It's something that we all go through living in the West. Prejudice, discrimination, and antagonizing people's identity is a common thing with the white people. No matter how a black man climbs the ladder, they still see you as a black man. Where are you from? You're from one banana republic, one tree cultivating republic. These are their belief. It's a stereotype. And it's sad that a lot of them still have it. They are ignorant, and they show that ignorance when they talk with people of different race. So yes, we had that situation in the UK, and it was a sad one. The woman was really held back, and it made her to, I think she resigned also from the office.
Yes, she resigned, and rightly so. And Bidi, it simply shows racism is an inside thing, is a faculty matter, is in their brain. And you see someone who is not of your color, you think he has migrated here. Whereas they could have been living there for 400 years. For 400 years, Africans have been brought to Europe, and they've been there generation upon generation. The same thing in England, in the USA. And then they take someone from Ireland to America, 2 generations, they become Americans. Nobody will ask, where are you really from? Because he's white. But for those who have been there 400 years in generation upon generation, they're still asking, where are you originally from? What do you say, Bidi?
Racism is a human thing. It's not just for international world. What happened there? Like, people are being asked, where are you from on a daily basis? It's a harmless question. But the context at which that question was asked, the emphasis on where are you really from is the issue there. And that is racism. Now, when I say it's a human thing, even we in Africa, a Ghanaian will ask a Nigerian man, a Nigerian will ask a Ghana. Even in Nigeria, a Yoruba will ask an Igbo man. Hausa man will ask a Yoruba man. It's a human thing that if you really want to fight it, it's a serious thing that we really need to fight about. It's not even with women. You see us unconsciously display this racism thing, and it affects people psychologically, it affects people emotionally. It's not a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. Let me pick you up on the one in Nigeria. Bidi, you are going on the streets of Victoria Island, and I happen to be going there, and I see you beautiful, attractive, and I walk down to you. Hello, baby. Where are you really? Where are you from? And you say, "Oh, I'm from, say, Anambra State." Will I go ahead and say, "Look, you look beautiful"? Where are you really from? Will I say that?
No, I know they might not go that far, but what I mean is a thing with humans. You understand? Yeah. They might not really go that far the way they do it in the international world, but it's a common thing with humans.
Everybody likes to play superiority game. That's very correct.
To order, yeah.
And what you said is also very meaningful. It depends on the atmosphere. You know, a person could ask another person, "Where are you from?" and there won't be any provocation on that. Or when you put it out,
tone.
Yes.
The context at which that question was asked, that is actually a problem. I could say, "Where are you from?" and you tell me. But if you look at that question, she asked her, "Where are you from?" and she said, "Where are you really from?" The emphasis on that is actually the problem. You know, the question she passed on there was that you're not supposed to be here. You're not expected to be here. It was Baba. It was clear. You know, many people will keep saying that if they don't see anything bad at that, but there is a lot of bad things in that question.
I tend to agree with you. It's a human thing, but it is where you now push it, it becomes racist. I have 2 examples. I studied partly in France, and one day I was sitting down at the foot of Eiffel Tower, and they were singing, and I was joining them, a group of young men and women. They were singing, some of them Caucasian, some of us black, and one lady came to me. "You're an American, aren't you?" Because I was black, I was speaking English. So she assumed that any black man in France speaking English must be an American. Now, so I had to think twice. Look, I was a young man. I wasn't married. I was 20 something. I was thinking, was she trying to come on to me? Shall I just lie? I'm an American, denying my country, Nigeria, or shall I just say? So I flashing through my mind, I say, Well, actually, I'm a Nigerian, but I've traveled far, you know. I've been to America, and, you know,
This,
just,
this your story. This your story reminds me what happened in South Africa.
yeah.
You don't need to tell anybody in South Africa that you're a Nigerian. By the way you spend money, or by the way you buy things, they'll say, he's a Nigerian. And that is the problem for you. So it's still that same racism we're talking about. It's a human thing. I know the
Yeah.
international world has taken their own, a father
Beyond.
more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Sita, do you have another human experience like that? Because my son came to me. We moved into England 30 years ago. They were 8, 9, 10. And my son came to me. Somebody came to ask me where I'm from. And the last time I answered that question, it didn't go very well. So I told them I'm from LA. I said, boy, you cannot lie. He said, Dad, I'm from LA. Gus. Oh, I said, okay.
Of course.
Dr. Sita, have you got experience like that?
Oh yeah, all the time, all the time. But the good thing about it, I think we're all saying the same thing, is that when you listen to the inflection and the tone.
Yeah.
Somebody came to ask me where are you from. I said Nigeria, and he said where in Nigeria. I said Nigeria is a country. So he now said to me, is it next to Malawi? most times
you tell him not too far,
you
sympathize, from Malawi.
You sympathize with them. You sympathize with them because they think Africa is the US.
Yes.
Where it is one country,
yes.
but different different states. They are thinking that being from Nigeria, you could just have stroll to South Africa.
Yeah.
That you could just stroll to Kenya. That you could just take a bicycle and ride to Malawi. But you pity them. Some of them really don't know. I have school. I'm in class. Even my teachers. Do you know that in 1998, one professor was asking me my opinion about Monica Lewinsky? As soon as I said that Abacha could have 7 girlfriends and all the fathers of these girlfriends are superstars, the woman didn't speak to me for the whole semester. I'm not kidding. No, I'm not kidding. I had to go to her husband, who was also faculty, to beg. How can somebody who is not condemning Clinton sit in her class?
Wow.
It's torture. Yes.
Wow.
I didn't see anything wrong with what Clinton did. What they said Clinton did. But the issue was that you can't say it openly because you're a black man, coming to America, and your head of state is a military person who is keeping women. To hell with that, So, but the issue is sympathize with them because most of them don't know what it is.
Eventually, education will erase racism. Eventually, because racism is something that was put in their faculty.
Exactly.
Results have shown that children don't know colors. Go to nursery school in London, you will see white and black playing together, running and jumping on one another. Children don't know color and they don't know supremacy, but somebody educated them in their families and they started thinking in a stupid
manner. Shegu, I might disagree today that education will raise racism. Most of the people who say this racism, they are well read, they are well informed. Except you're telling me a different pattern of education. Now,
the education I meant was that the education I meant was they will soon come to know that racism is stupidity. Once you get that one, then you will just so the kind of education is not PhD. The education is that, wait a minute, I have not been superior to anyone, and they just lied to me.
I would rather say probably as the world really gets more like a global village through technology, through innovation, people will begin to realize more of that. If you look at it, in the tech world, for example, all they want to know is how good you are.
Apple be from an Indian village. Yeah, that's true.
Yes,
Indian village, they give you the job.
All they want to know is you're smart. You understand coding, you understand programming. That's all they want to know. They don't want
Nigerians. About 25 years ago, many Nigerians in England were doing menial jobs, sweeping gutters. But as soon as computer took over, Nigerians went straight to study computing. And there was a saying in England. People normally say, "Look, computer knows no color. Start working on computer." Computer doesn't know color. Once you get it, you get it. They employ you, you make money. So you are so right, technology. But another thing is that in London, 1 out of 2 children born today is mixed race. 1 out of 2 children born today in London is mixed race. London is so cosmopolitan that you will go into any office, and I mean any office, you will see diverse kind of people. And in fact, there is a company without diversity there, people don't reckon with it. But let me
this is a very important topic. Somebody's saying we should really talk more on this. Somebody just read that out.
Yeah,
I think we will take time. Okay, go ahead.
I think education, yes, will help to reduce racism, but love, if you ask me, love will actually fight racism. And when I talk about love, we talk love in what love is, not love in a political aspect of it. You know, to many countries, many people say love for a motive, for political reasons, you understand, for power reasons. But if you can display love, if you can show love for what love is, I think it should be one of the best ways we can fight racism in the world.
Definitely, you are speaking my language, because for God so loved the world, He didn't discriminate part of the world. Yes, so you are speaking my language. Love is the bottom line, and I agree with you 100%. And we can expand that one till tomorrow. I think that is what is going on in London right now. People don't look at colors before they fall in love. My first son has married a mixed race person. And so and she had a part of a German and part of Indian, and she looks very beautiful, I'm telling you. So, so love is a part of it. It will bring many things to pass. But let's just quickly zero in on Meghan. Meghan, to mixed race, partly American and partly Jamaican, and she suffered.
Partly Nigerian.
Now she discovered she's 43% Nigerian. Thank you. I was coming to that. So now you see that it is not very easy to say I'm from here, I'm from there, because the more we probe into it, we'll discover that we've all been moved around, circulated around, and there is a study for that. But then she suffered some form of discrimination at the hands of royal family. How many of us have watched Harry and Meghan at Netflix? Tell us more, Mark. Harry and Meghan, the Netflix story. Have you watched it?
Yes, it's a docu series called Harry and Meghan. It's in talk of town now on Netflix. I just saw the preview. I've not really seen the whole clips. Yes,
I watched the first episode. And the first episode was talking about how they met, how romantic things were, and the first initial reaction of the royal family. And it's going to be great, because I understand there are 6 episodes, but I've just managed to watch one. Dr. Sita, what's your reaction to Harry and Meghan's story? Now they are weaving it romantically as well as politically, and the British are not enjoying it, I must tell you, but the rest of the world is feeding on it.
Yes, it's even going blockbuster. The ratings are going very high. Sorry.
Yeah. Apart from the Netflix story, remember that Harry's mom died because of racism as they saw it, and that is what he still sees in his wife.
Well, many of our listeners may not know, because it's taken some years now. When Diana divorced from Prince Charles, her final husband-to-be was Al Fayed's son, an Egyptian Muslim. And the British were not happy that their own wife will now be ex-princess will now be married to an African Muslim, and that may lead to a lot of things. So I'm just trying to explain what Dr. Sita is trying to say.
Yes, thank you very much. What really is in now is the race-related harassments. Race-related harassment. We just analyze race from point of love, from point of education. Anybody who wants to stay racist does not look for education, does not look for love. You know, I tell this story all the time. I used to take a back road from school, from Alabama to Georgia. It was 1 hour, 2 minutes. The real distance is 3 hours through Birmingham. But my lecturer would say to me, "You see that, you know, I love you, right? One beautiful lady. But if they kill you, I won't mourn you." Because it's so real. It's so real. Yes, if you lose a tire or you beat traffic lights in that stretch, in that 1 hour stretch, you're done. And I'm not kidding you. And I will leave school by 6 p.m. So meaning that I will travel partly, some dark streets. But the truth about these two people, let's face facts. If you follow their story so very well, this is what the world needs. There will be no international crisis. There will be no war, because they see the world as a place where has been peaceful, that people remove peace from, and they want to put it back there. And I follow them. I follow them in every step they take. It's so humble, it's so honoring, and it's happy. By the end
he's happy. That's him. And Meghan is happy. Let's hear from a lady. Biddy, you've been following the Harry Meghan, at least if not the Netflix, all what has been happening since their wedding. How do you see it as a lady?
It's just what we've been talking about. The love, the racist thing. It's all the same thing. It's just around them. Now, the royal house is actually the ones complicating this thing. This guy has made it known that I want my life. I want to be happy. Now, I asked people most times, is it too much for someone to ask to be happy in life? This life is very short. Do you understand? And someone has said, I want to be happy. In one of the Harry's episode, I saw how he explained how bitter his mother was, even as young as he was then, that he understood what the mother went through. The mother wanted to live in a peaceful, loving world, but they never allowed her. Now, he said he doesn't want that kind of life. Luckily for him, he got a woman that is just like him. And now they want to live their life their own way. In fact, each time I look at these people, I'm so emotional. I love everything I see around them. If I talk about them, I might be too emotional. I might not really say the way the world wants to say it. But I think it's high time we allow these people a space. Now they decided to tell their story their own way.
And do you know they're getting richer and richer? Money is flowing their way. All these stories, they're not free.
Apart from the Netflix, they're not going into production. Are you aware of that?
Yes, they are making money. So they don't depend on the royal family.
They don't want. You see, when the Queen died, they excluded them from everything, and they don't care. People are expecting them to come and make a story out of it.
But they have a household. They have a household enemy, Mark.
Exactly.
They have a household challenge.
The problem is this: why are the world not happy that someone is happy? That's my question.
It's the color of the skin. They don't want to mix. But Marky Milan, the mistake they made for Prince Charles was that they forced him to marry Diana instead of Camilla. And Harry said, "I don't want this one." What do you say?
Exactly.
Yes, that was a mistake. They forced him into something he didn't want, and eventually, what he wanted came back to him.
Yes, and he eventually married a divorced Camilla, and Harry is marrying a divorced Meghan. So what is the problem? Life is complex. Well, BD and gentlemen, I must thank you very much for coming to this show. Until Wednesday when we meet again, must thank you, BD from Lagos. I love that city. And then from the seat of power, Dr. Sita Nyemeka, Mark in Milan, and the crew in Italy. This is where we bring it to a close until Wednesday when we talk about issues from Nigeria. God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bless you, and thanks for watching.